Everyone's.
Happy Saturday.
How's everybody doing? Glenn Murray, you're a wonderful surprise. Everybody in TV land, please help us wish Glenn a happy birthday, even though it's already
Today
past.
is not his birthday. It's past already.
It still counts. My birthday was Wednesday, and I'm accepting all gifts and greetings and salutations and well wishes.
Greetings and salutations. We're not doing gifts. Just greetings and salutations gonna have to work for you.
Cash apps and all of that works for me. I'm enjoying it. I'm on the tail end of my own personal wine crawl. So I've had a wonderful day here in Napa.
Yeah, your eyes say all of that.
So does your unusually calm demeanor.
And that pink shirt you got on too. That's you got to be confident.
Yeah, not gonna be an easy week for you, Glenn. You can see that.
Hey, give him a birthday every year. We gotta heat him. We gotta heat him. Man. Kennery, we see you, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And not even a new face, but the only guest face today is that of the Total Gents brother, Mr. Dave Roberson, who's been with us a number of times, no stranger to the show, always something instrumental and significant to contribute. But man, introduce yourself anyway, even though we know you are. Introduce yourself for those who may not have caught you before. Tell them a little bit about yourself, we know how you came to the show by way of your bro, but
Yeah, I actually been on here enough times before to where I was looking forward to seeing my picture flash up the way that y'all did. Kind of looking real, official. I'm still waiting, but
Dave, I ain't throwing no shade, but I mean, you related to one of the associate producers, so it seemed like you would be able to get a little nepotism working.
We'll talk that offline. But,
I guess your brother didn't send us the information in time. I'm not just saying.
All good, man.
That's what it is.
No, Dave Roberson, man, always a pleasure to be here with the fellas, talking up some man topics, man. I know we got a good, lively audience that's just waiting to hear what we got to say and also to chime in and interact. So, excited to be here, man. Just looking forward to a good chat.
We're excited to have you, man. And
actually, what happened was Glenn wasn't supposed to be here.
I wasn't gonna tell that story.
I'm telling the story. Glenn wasn't supposed to be here. Raj, can you kick Glenn out for a minute, please? See, as an associate producer,
there we go.
She wanted to remind me, Shawn.
Really? Is that how we working this today?
Put your weight around a little bit, man. Hey, Glenn, you get a number of birthday wishes on the show's thread. One of them came from my guy all the way in Tennessee, Johnny Shivers. We call him Shotgun, but my man wished you a happy birthday, man. So, your reach is far and wide.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
My mic wasn't on. Your reach is far and wide, brother, and we appreciate you and all you do. And I guess you're gonna take Mel's job and eat this show, huh? That's how you.
That's my job. Yes, I'm working on some.
All right.
Really good pizza from Napa. I'm enjoying myself.
Mel, do you see this dude? He looked like he could roll out in the street, man, and go to sleep right now. That's the way he's looking. Right. Robert Hazzard, the newest permanent member of the show. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone watching and tell us about yourself?
Hey, I'm Robert Hazzard. They call me the lover of life. I love everything, including women. I have a company called the Hazzard Group where I do, consulting for businesses, helping them solve business problems. And of course, I have some beautiful grandkids, Miami and my boys as well, 3 boys. But excited to be back with you guys. Miss you guys. Let's get going.
For sure. Total Gent.
What up, man?
Talk to the people. Tell them they know. You the only local celebrity on the show. So
no, don't let Glenn hear you say that. let Glenn tell you ain't nobody gonna see me, Otis.
There's nobody gonna see you, Mel. Really?
Yeah.
I was trying to help ratings. That's why I dropped into the show and graced you all with my presence.
Let me start drinking With you, brother.
Can somebody from production bring me a drink?
Go ahead, Mel. Please finish introducing.
I'm Mel Roberson, actor, author, entrepreneur, multi-lane entrepreneur from Chicago, one half of the Roberson boys. Happy to have my younger brother with me, and my other brothers, and my play cousin Glenn. Y'all are my brothers. Glenn just my play cousin.
Man, I gotta say, man, Glenn be getting love out here in these streets, man. You know,
that's why I got to bring him back down to earth.
Right, because I meet people, man, and they be like, you know, Glenn is cute, and I'd be like, man. And then it was one time it was a lady I was sweet on, and she was like, "Is Glenn single?" And I was like, "What is going on?" It's a bad day for you when somebody you like asks you about your boy. That's a bad day. I guess
It's not his birthday, Yolanda. Just so you know, his birthday is passed already. He just happens to be on a birthday trip, but it's not.
Yolanda, I'm accepting your birthday wishes. My birthday was Wednesday, so it counts through April. So everybody just gonna shower me with birthday wishes. It's okay.
That's why you get an introduction, because you acting like that. You're not getting an introduction.
I know, because I'm all into my feelings right now.
Yeah,
I'm all into me. Wonder of me.
Yourself a little hard right now, so we not even gonna give you an introduction.
It's not often you turn 35 again, so I'm like,
it's not often you feel alive that blatant. So, my name is Shawn Mason. I am blessed to be the host of The Cave. We're coming up on a year. We got to figure out something to do for our year anniversary show. Hopefully we can make it real cool for everybody that's been supporting us to hang out with us that day. I am a professional photographer. I do some singing, a little bit of writing. Hey, Jamie Gill, I see you in the room. And just I do a little blogging too. But I'm the host of this show, and I'm a proud uncle of Morgan and Byron II. And that's my spiel. That's all that's really to me. So let's get it on. Let's get it on. Not a whole lot, man. On my shoulders this week, man. A busy day. I've already had two shoots to navigate, which is why I'm dressed like this. I had to dress up for the second one, so I had to do a mail from last week when mail came in all super fly. I didn't have time to change clothes this time. So right. There you go. But I heard that we lost somebody from the rap community. Mel, you being the music influence. Black Rob is somebody that passed away. I'm not that familiar with the guy.
Yeah, Black Rob was on Bad Boy, man. Actually, in my 20s, I did a show with him back when me and some of my cousins had a rap group together. We did a show with Black Rob. Super cool guy, man. You heard his song, "Play Whoa" by Black Rob. You heard the song, you would definitely know. Hold on.
Well, right now,
"Play Whoa" by Black Rob.
Right now, I'm over talking to Syria.
Right, you good.
Yo, when you see something ill, you know what I mean? That shit is woke.
Yeah.
Anything ill you see is woke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very familiar with that song. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hip. Okay, how old was he, man?
It's around our age. He's mid to late 40s, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think he might have actually been 50, same as DMX.
51, I think he was.
Okay, yeah. Older than me, 51.
The team says 51. How did he pass, Dave? Do you know?
Kidney failure.
Yeah, so he was in a hospital, and he released a video last week after DMX had died, just kind of giving DMX his flowers and giving him a shout. And nobody really knew his condition. So when he released the video, everybody's like, I hate to say it, but whoa. Black Rob is in the hospital, not looking too good. What's going on? And then now he's passing. So got two brothers, pretty soon after each other. So DMX is a legend. I wouldn't necessarily call Black Rob a legend. But
if I don't know, I mean, I'm musically savvy enough that if I don't know you, you're probably not a legend.
Yeah, probably more so along the lines of like a one-hit wonder. Did some features. He was on Bad Boy, so obviously connected in that way. But he was part of that Bad Boy transition after Biggie, I guess a little bit after Mace, when they were trying to get some things going. Mark Curry and some other cats that had G-Dep or whatever. But yeah, that song was huge. So he contributed to the culture, you know, whether it was a long-lived career or not. Still contributed with that song, and it's got some timeless elements. So you can still rock to it today.
You said the important thing for me, man. If you do something that actually impacts culture, you've done something. And that song is one of those songs, you know, like Juvenile's big song. You know, if that when that song comes on and everybody knows it, you know, to me, you've touched culture, and you've kind of, like you said, Dave, I wouldn't call him a legend, but you know, he's definitely got to have some respect just based on the way he touched culture like that.
Yeah, when I was, I used to do radio. I had a short stint in radio. I had a little show, the Hip Hop Sweatshop down in Florida, back during that time when he was on air. But name was Dave Rowe on the air, and I did a Rowe song, kind of a remake of the Woe, and just used to get people kind of calling in every week, like, hey, I want to hear the Rowe song, and you know, playing both or whatever. But just got that connection, so fond memory, you know, because I was actually spinning his records at the time when he was out and big. So
yeah, I might have to pay you under the table, Dave, but I need to get my hand on one of them videos of Mel's old rap group.
Oh, he could send you songs and videos. I ain't. Oh, that ain't nothing I hide.
But then you need to send the
Is it me or is he freezing?
Drop him an anniversary show.
It's him.
You were freezing for a minute.
For the anniversary show, Mel, we're gonna need you to like bust a rhyme or something, dig up something from the crates, whatever you do.
Me and Dave can drop something, man. We got bars for days, man.
That'll be cool.
Bars for breakfast, baby.
Maybe I'll bring Kevin Whitaker on and we can do one of our old songs too, from something that got recorded. So you
from Memphis? Y'all did country music?
Oh, wow. We just gonna go there, aren't you?
I'm asking. I wasn't more like Elvis. I'm asking.
Hey now, this ain't the day. I'm on my fifth winery. This ain't the day. Just letting you know. Okay?
What's crazy, y'all, is we only do this stuff on air. We don't be like this when
I know, really.
But I gotta tell you, man, I am tickled at Glenn. Glenn is as bubbly as I have ever seen. His best man to hold it together. But Rob, you are no longer the king of us telling you to go get some water. Glenn,
I am fine. Like, you know, I'm like, 3-4 wineries in today. Yesterday we did 4 or 5. I'm in Napa. Wow. I'm in my element. So life is great.
But Mel, I get the feeling that Glenn is a mean drunk. You know, you get the nice drunks, you get the mean drunks. My gut is telling me Glenn is a mean drunk. So you come home and beat the kids.
Where's my slippers and my house coat?
My slippers.
And my house
coat. Really?
Man, before we start talking about relationship stuff, man, this question just popped into me, and it might not even apply. We might not spend any time on it, but I don't know if any of you guys are big into the MCU. I was a big Marvel Comics fan way before they became, cinematic and became the MCU. But I was watching Iron Man 3 today. I've been going back and just kind of watching some of the ones that, were early on in the 23 movie or so, line they have now. And I had forgotten that I actually named my cat after the little boy in Iron Man 3. His name was Harley. But my question is this. I'm looking at the Robert Downey casting as Iron Man. And I know that there were a couple of other options on the table that they had considered. But when I look at that whole lineup, man, is there anybody that you can say was the best cast for their character? Like who do you think was the best? Cause they rocked them all out. I see your wheels spinning, Dave. They rocked them all out. But is there anybody you can say definitively this was the single best cast
Yeah, and that's going to be difficult to move from Robert and Iron Man because he set it off.
That's kind of where I was with it. That's what
he set it off. So yeah, I'm interested to hear.
That's what made me think about it was that as much as I think Chris Evans was dope as Captain America, as much as I think Chris Hemsworth was dope as Thor, dude, I don't know that anybody was as accurate a casting as Robert Downey as Iron Man, dude, because he had to have that chutzpah, you know, he had to have that ego and that swag and that, you know, and all of that. He, you know, and I don't see a whole lot of cats, man, that could have come in and done that thing, man.
Right. Him and Loki, Tom Huddleston.
Tom Huddleston is
Loki.
Yeah, he's a good cast.
I think somebody else could have played Loki. I mean, he did a good job.
And my boy Michael B. Jordan is Killmonger. He played it with an edge, with a swag. There was a certain swag about playing Killmonger, being the villain, and all of that. I think that was great. I think those three.
I like Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, just like I like Chadwick as Black Panther. This is going to be an odd thing to say, but I found Michael B. Jordan a little handsome to play.
Yeah, Killmonger is not. Killmonger is a lot bigger in the comic books too.
Right. I used to
T'Challa.
I used to draw.
Yeah, man. Killmonger's a like big dude.
Yeah.
In the comics, and Michael B. Jordan was a little. But when you cross over from actual comic books to movies, you know, they're looking at acting ability and they're also looking at star status and following. That's how a lot of these people get that, with the exception of Robert Downey in that particular situation, because he literally was just coming out of something. But he developed that character so cold. He definitely did have the Tony Stark attitude. I wish he would have worked out more, so that when he didn't have the suit on, you know, because that was one of the things in the book Tony did in the comic books. He does have a physique as well, and Robert's just, you know, regular guy with great acting skills.
He's fit, but he's lean. He's not a bulk dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but he could have been cut up. He wasn't even cut up in the comic books. He was just like, I'm not working out for this shit. I'm cold.
Just a pasty white dude. He was a pasty
white. And he did a great job.
Personality-wise, like, some of it you can really tell, man, when he's not in the suit and you're watching his just bare bones acting chops, you know. And dude, because he's not in the suit a whole lot in 3, because he's kind of going through a thing, right? But dude, I'm watching this dude and I'm like, man, I cannot think of anybody, and especially who had to have the significance that Iron Man has in the whole story, being the first movie. And then going all the way to the end, to be the Avenger that dies, you know, in phase 1, dude. You know, I don't see how anybody else could have done it, man. Because I'd heard Tom Cruise mention, you know, he couldn't have done it, man. Not that he could have done the action part, but he couldn't have done the personality part.
I don't even know if he could have done the action part, man. I still would have seen Maverick in a fucking Tony Stark suit, like in an Iron Man suit. I wish
Gallagher, you know that's ad lib, dude. That man's playing Gallagher. You thought we wouldn't see.
No, I mean Robert Downey Jr. just added the whole extra Stark with being Tony. It was almost like he was making fun of himself at times playing Tony.
Yeah.
But he liked the role. It's like if one of us had a suit that gave us all these powers, we'd be funny as hell and we'd be making fun of ourselves, but we'd also enjoy having that power. And that was Robert Downey Jr. It was like a regular guy who happened to be very smart and be able to build this and be able to capitalize on it. I think that's what made him different. That's why I really liked him. I don't think anybody else could have played him, honestly.
Yeah, Roger,
the way he did with the level of the level he did. I'll put it that way.
Roger said he was basically playing himself, which could be true. Kennery brought up a good point. Scarlett Johansson was a great cast as Black Widow.
She was.
Yeah.
She was.
You think so, huh? Come on now.
Well, Natasha Romanoff is Russian, and that's what I don't like that they didn't bring to the character. right? I wish they would have brought that Russian element to the character. Because I mean, I know she's supposed to
playing a Russian. You mean an authentic Russian? Is what you're saying.
well, no, it doesn't even have to be an authentic Russian, but I get that, in the comic books when she's undercover, she speaks, like she's from America. She can manipulate her voice and all of that, but we saw no elements of the Russian aspect of Roman, like at all.
Yanni, her movie is coming out. Yanni was saying that she wished they would have gotten into her character more. Her movie is soon to be released. Yanni is going to take place before Infinity Wars in terms of the timeline, but her origin story, as it will, is actually probably done already, and so we're going to have the Black Widow movie. There are even trailers for it out already, Yanni. So you'll be.
I think it's coming out.
I think you'll get into her Russian side on the backstory. I think you'll get into that more.
Yeah. We're like 5 movies in with her, bro. I don't need 5 movies in to figure out she's Russian. Like most people watching this that didn't read the comic books probably had no idea that she's Russian.
Right.
And that her and Tony used to have a thing going on too.
Yeah, man. But they, they really did well, man. And my family and my niece and nephew are big DC people, but they can't even pretend that DC is on any level able to compete with the MCU. They're just not. And I think
on the movies, but on the TV shows, DC is crushing.
That's actually the point my brother made today, was that they're more robust in terms of their exploration of characters and stuff on the TV shows. But in the movies, I feel like they don't have the same writing quality. They can't tie the movies together the way the Marvel writers do. And so they try to give you all this eye candy to keep you engaged. And it's a whole lot of fluff to me, a whole lot of special effects and stuff, but the stories are weak.
It's because Batman is the only movie they get right when it comes to DC Universe on the big screen. They can only get Batman right. And they got Wonder Woman right with the first one. And the second one a little bit. I like the second one. A lot of people didn't, but I like the second one.
I thought the second one started dope and it just fell off and never had its footing again.
Fizzled out.
And Aquaman was good. Aquaman, they actually told a good story.
I didn't as much as I
didn't really like that one.
Yeah, I like Jason.
Really?
I
love Jason
and all that, but that was the movie that made me think that they try to trick you with eye candy. I felt like the writing was weak, and they just gave you all this special effects stuff to try to keep you engaged. Now, I will say this: I sat through the entire Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League, and it was dope.
It was.
It was.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I think there are some things, and Mel would understand this. There are some things, man, that you can take from a movie, and you think you're cutting time, but you're actually cutting emotion, and you're cutting, things that have to do with backstories. And so they cut so much with Cyborg's character. The stuff that they added, man, with Cyborg's character painted him in a whole different light, And I'm like, the movie had to be 4 hours. That that maybe they tried to cut it for that purpose, but it had to be 4 hours, man. It was, Anyway, let's move on. I don't want to talk about comic books for the whole time. How's your dating lives going, gentlemen? Dave's the only married cat on the screen, so
I was gonna say mine is pretty consistent.
Lucky you.
Look, everybody's leaving.
Right.
Is that intentional? Everybody cut it.
Man.
Everybody left, huh?
So it's a pandemic, man. I don't have a dating life.
I'm tired of people asking me about Glenn and Rob. I know that much.
See, I would think since it's a pandemic, everybody kind of fell back on their heels. So it's the perfect opportunity for you to actually get in there. It's less competition. Make it happen. Everybody's scared of the pandemic. Go find somebody. It's my thought. Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Says the man that has a beautiful wife that he gets to sleep next to.
These married cats, man, they kill me. They the first ones. They have a model-looking wife. They tell you don't concern with looks.
Man, no.
Looks ain't everything.
Looks don't matter for you.
You should just be happy to have somebody, right? That's what you married guys tell us single guys. I can't say that no more because I ain't married. But
Hey man, did any of y'all check out Daniel Kaluuya hosting Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks ago?
I heard it was great.
I saw his opening monologue, but I didn't watch the show.
Hey man, they did a skit about he was a physician and it was a game show and he had like 4 of his relatives and he was offering them money to take the vaccine.
Oh wow.
Dude,
oh wow.
It was crazy, dude. He's like offering them like, okay, I got 5 stacks for you. The question is, will you take the vaccine? And then like $5,000. I can do such and such, and I can do such and such. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. It was funny. It was very funny. But it's like
the production team says it was pretty controversial. I didn't hear any backlash from it, but I thought it was very well done.
I thought that was totally funny and totally true.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear anything about them pulling Johnson & Johnson?
Yeah, I heard that they had to pause it because there was some kind of side effect that was going on.
Blood clots or something?
Right.
Blood clots for some people, but they just put it on hold. So not using that one anymore. I guess the question would be, do you get to choose which one you want when you're going to get the shot?
Yeah, let me just say that Pfizer is the choice for me. I've had my first shot, and I got my second one coming up next week. And I'm glad I didn't do Johnson & Johnson. That's all I'm saying. It's like Johnson & Johnson, y'all already messed up with the talcum powder, so you didn't really get a second
right.
after that. And then y'all coming out with a vaccine, and now we got blood clot issues. So they pulled the whole thing. So I'm like, okay, thank you very much.
So just to be abundantly clear, Johnson & Johnson's pharmaceutical division is not the same research and development team as the ones that did talcum powder, bro. Like,
don't matter, Mel. Don't matter. It's the
name. It's the brand.
It's the name. It's all the same.
Okay.
It's the branding thing.
Don't matter, Mel. We don't need your facts around here, okay? Get your facts out of here, mister.
Fake news, Mel. That's fake news.
Yeah,
exactly. I think Pfizer just came out and said that if you got their shot, you're definitely going to need a booster within 12 months.
Yep.
12 months.
Every year after that.
Yeah, it's 12. I thought it was 3 months, and then is it 12 that you have to get it? But
they said inside of 12 months you need to get another one, and then probably every year after that. So
can I just say I'm amazed at the people that are walking around being able to reproduce and everything that have so much ignorance. Bill Gates actually posted something about get your vaccine, and the response to that was ridiculous. People were talking about the microchip that he's trying to implant in everybody, and now one woman was like, I just take my zinc. I don't need your vaccine, Bill Gates, because you're evil. I'm like, I am amazed at the people that can walk around and put their pants on one leg at a time and be as stupid as they are. It just is like, it's amazing. I'm just amazed at the ability of people sometimes. Because it's ridiculous what things people make up when it comes to the vaccine and what they think they should do. You know, I have never, like I always said, I've never met so many people that were infectious disease experts that had high school diplomas. It is amazing what people think.
That's just like the people in the barbershop, you know, they too busy cutting hair, even though they can tell you how to run the country. You know, that's just, you know, that's just
the great thing about this country, though, is that people are entitled to their opinions. I mean, Zinke is an immunity booster, and whether she thinks Bill Gates,
you know what they say about opinions and other things. Everybody has one. Exactly.
Well, I mean, which is true, and we all on the show have our own too. So it's okay. You know, I just take everything with a grain of salt, and I don't knock people for what they choose to believe or what they choose to say, because my friends are smarter than that generally.
Me either.
So
But I tell you what I do not, Mel, and that is the people, man, that feel the need to go online and dog you for your decision.
Right.
Either way, for taking it or not taking it.
That hurts the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying? If you believe what you believe and you want to take it or you don't want to take it, do that and leave me the hell alone. I don't feel like I should be scrolling through and seeing you mock me for my decision. Whatever.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and maybe I'm too many bottles in today, But no, there's some people that are stupid as hell. Okay, there's some people that don't need to reproduce. Like, you don't need to have children with the beliefs that you hold. I'm sorry, somebody needs to sterilize you or do something quickly to keep you from reproducing. Because there's some stupid ass people in this world, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen of our viewing audience, the thoughts and opinions of Glenn Murray do not necessarily reflect that of the other gentlemen on the cave or the show as a whole. Just wanted to put that.
I'm just waiting for him to tell us how he really feels. Like, I'm waiting until we get to that point.
I'm serious, y'all. No, you gotta read some stuff. You gotta read how ignorant people are, though.
Glenn, we want you to watch.
It bothers my spirit how dumb
you to watch this show
are.
Wednesday so that you can understand the phrase "mean drunk." Well, just watch it Wednesday. Don't watch it for the next couple of days. Watch it like Wednesday. And I want you to think about the phrase "mean drunk." That's
and I'm sorry, Yolanda Pounds. You're right. You shouldn't call people stupid. You're right. She is totally correct. I shouldn't call people stupid. But
you can think what you want to think, though. You can think they stupid.
I mean, like ignorant, like dumb. Can I think of some other adjectives that describe them? Yes. There's some others though. Stupid might be the wrong one.
Folks out here, man, with 6 children by 5 different women, never been married, ain't got a moral compass in their body, want to tell you how to live your life. People are fascinating. They're fascinating to me. I'm like, if there's nothing about your life that says you know something that I don't know, I don't want your opinion.
But how many people push them on their opinion? They're sitting there saying, yeah, you know what? You're right.
Well, here's the thing.
That, man.
No, well, here's the thing. It might be 40 that tell them they're dumb. Mm-hmm. It's the 6 that rock with them that matter to them. So, so they allow themselves to be infused by the 6 lowly people that agree with them. It might be 50 that go, dude, you really need to look at that differently.
Right. I mean, there are people. Bill Gates had posted something about getting vaccinated, and the responses he got was so ridiculous. I'm like, if you really think Bill Gates and his sitting in his $1 billion empire actually thinks about you and your $7.75 job, that he really wants to implant a chip in you because there's some reason that he actually wants to track what you're doing, you're stupid. I'm sorry, you're just stupid. Okay, let's just be real about it. You just
here since Glenn has made it clear.
Drink some water, Glenn. Drink some water.
Yeah.
Drink some water.
And take a Valium.
This works for me. I'll tell you, Glenn, this works for me.
Thanks for dropping by, Glenn.
Yeah.
Thanks for dropping by, Glenn. Go get back to your trip.
Really? Y'all just gonna be like that? Really?
No. I'm not putting you out. Let the record state that that's Mel putting you out.
Yeah, exactly. Voice of reason, Mel, of course.
Right.
That's not what my title reads today. So
yeah, Dave.
Dave, right. You're rocking with his other so it's a famous thing today.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
Dave, your brother has claimed himself as the voice of reason. He declared himself the voice of reason for about.
It's not a self-proclamation. It's not a self-proclamation.
Yeah.
The people
Nobody else.
Hey, I only heard you say it, but I'm not debating.
Yeah, you're the only person that declared yourself that. Nobody else did.
Jamie, would you please let these people know? Jamie Gill, please.
Really, Jamie?
Jamie's to the thread right now. Hey man, I didn't see this because I will admit, man, that I'm a bit exhausted. Somebody pull Glenn out. I'm exhausted, and so I even tried to watch. Kennery talked about this show, but I tried to watch them, and just with everything that's going on, man, I realized that from a racially sensitive space, I'm just a bit exhausted. So stuff will come up now, man, and I won't even watch it. I just don't have the capacity to pile it on all the stuff that I'm already feeling and entertaining. But I know that there were a couple of incidents in the last couple of weeks, one that involved a soldier. I don't know if you guys saw that. Of course, we know this is a bit of a separate incident, but the little guy who did the Indianapolis shooting. But what happened with the soldier? I did hear that the officers that were involved in that have been disciplined, and I saw screenshots of them holding like a gun to him and his arms, his hands up. But what actually happened?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Robert.
No, I was just going to. I came in on the middle of the video, so we're talking about the Mason and not wanting to get out of the police getting out of his car. He was a lieutenant, I believe. Is that the one we're talking about?
I just know it was a brother in military wear. Production team. Yes, he was.
Yeah. So that was my understanding of it. He kind of knew his rights. He knew he didn't do anything, and but they didn't want to. They wanted him out of the car. He felt safer in the car, and of course they maced him and things like that. I don't know if they used their stun gun on him or anything to eventually get him out. Mel, you can tell us more about that piece.
So I thought you were talking about a different incident. There was another incident where there was a guy in the military in his neighborhood that stopped a younger guy who has been
white
been living
in the military in that one, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
He wasn't dressed like military, but
no,
but
and the cool part is there were some sisters that were around there that would not leave, that filmed everything and made sure that the young man was safe. I thought that was dope, man. You know, if you see something, say something.
And
that's George Zimmerman type of situation, or what?
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely a Zimmerman type of joint.
What I found fascinating, man, is that if you watch that video, if you listen, there's a Karen off camera inciting it all. There's a Karen instigating it all. And I thought it fascinating that they insisted that this young man tell them where they live. But when he asked them where they lived, they said that was none of his business. That's how blindly one-sided they function. You know, like you ask the same question that he asked you, yet you expect him to answer it, but you don't think you have any responsibility to answer it when he asks you. And here was the worst part. The worst part was that the white dude was physically imposing.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, it was significant, right? He was a big muscle head white, and the black guy was a real slight, light, meek seeming, young man. That's what I found really distasteful about it. Like, you're really trying to use your muscle on some racism, like, really, dude?
That's what Kay said, that was out of Columbia, South Carolina, which is predominantly a big state for military bases and things like that. So
and Confederate flags.
So I'm not surprised about that. But yeah, he pushed the kid and everything.
Yeah, and his commanding officer is black, so he's already been reprimanded and being stripped of some things.
Yeah, he was like, "You in the wrong neighborhood, motherfucker."
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, you really just say that? Like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by wrong neighborhood? What do you mean? Yeah, it's terrible, man. I'm so exhausted, man, and I'm exhausted with when I posted about this because I feel for my white friends who have some degree of compassion and want to understand. But largely, even the most well-intended, they're too limited. It's going to get to a place that they can't really access. Something that we have lived with from childhood. And I mentioned in the post that for a lot of them, it's like the record on the radio that the station plays every hour that you don't like, and you get tired of hearing, and so eventually you just turn the radio off because you don't want to hear it. And the reality, can't turn it off. It's our life and it's our story. So we can't turn it off. We don't want to turn it off. We want it to be heard, but they are so annoyed by it because it doesn't affect them. There's no way the plight of black people should annoy you when you hear it. That's inhumane like a mug, so, but it's the reality. What were you going to say, Mel?
I don't know, but all of it sucks.
Yeah, it really does, man. And I hate, man. Like there've been some comparisons. Like there was a post recently I shared. It said the only difference between Rodney King and now is that the videos are better quality. That the truth of that rings to me, but what rings more is the fact that it's the same story. you know, still this long, man. We're, you know, I'm sure my parents, man, my mom died in 91, my dad in 93. I am sure that they were confident the world would be a different world than we're living when it comes to race. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, man. It's not.
Michael Jackson's song, "The World Will Be a Better Place." Hey, do you guys, you know, feel any anxiety when you're driving now and you potentially get pulled over or a cop drives by you? Any sort of anxiety pop up for you?
Always, man. I've had that since I was 16, 17 when I started driving. First time I was harassed by a white cop. I've never not had that anxiety. And the white cop that harassed me and my friends, we were walking on Rush Street, and he was so blatant and bold about it. One of my best friend at the time, a guy named Beta Nuke, male, name is Marcus Vanderbilt. He was the only one bold enough to turn around and say, "You effing with us because we black, ain't you?" And the cop looked us right in our face and said, "Yep." And from that day forward, man, I've always had anxiety when I'm engaged.
That's crazy.
You know, it's something, man, that sticks with you, man. You know, you see the blue lights behind you, your heart start racing because you know it's more than just a ticket. You know, it's tough, man. And so there's a part of it that it would be wrong for me to ever think any of my white friends could understand. You know,
it's a tough situation because we've all, you know, had the talk where you learn about what you need to do and not do with the cops and all of that. But like as a grown man, it's just certain stuff that you don't necessarily want to take. And when they come your way and it's, you know, you know that it's unjustified and you want to ask a question, but then they want to escalate. And it's like, I know how to stand down. I know how I can make this traffic stop perfect. But at the same time, like I'm a grown ass man. Like there's certain things I just don't necessarily need you to do to be encroaching on my grownness.
And that's a tough thing for somebody like you, Dave, because Mel as well, but Mel has children. But I'm thinking about the fact that you have children and a wife. You know, you gotta get home to them, dude. So you have to fight those urges to take a stand, at least in that moment, because that stand could rob your wife and your children of you. And you
so yes and no, but to make this a little bit more complicated.
Thank you.
I get that.
Tell us how you feel.
I get that, and I understand it completely. But at the same time, it's like, at what point is it not even living anymore? Like I could go around and scum it, yes sir, no sir, and shuffle and all of this kind of stuff, but is that even really living anymore? So like,
well, I'm talking about in the moment of that incident. You know, in the moment of that incident, I'm sure that your family will want you to come home and do whatever you needed to do to come home. Now you might have to find peace with whatever decision you made once you get home. But I
think, and I respect what you're saying, Shawn. I think our family is a little bit different too when it comes to that.
Because y'all are brothers, so I didn't think you would think different.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying in the sense that like ultimately being respected is important to us, and I won't say not taking no shit, but there comes a point where we just like, yeah, fam, like whatever the consequences are, you know, I would rather live on my feet than die on my knees, right? So, and that's kind of the cloth that we're cut from, you know.
But I think we also see that as a momentary battle, Mel. So I think that you could, in a calculated fashion, fight that battle in a way that your victory was seen down the road, you know, and that way no harm would come to you, no loss would come to your family. But I get where you are with that. But I'm saying sometimes it's chess and not checkers.
But if I can make this even more complicated, so I get where
when he's on here, man. I want you to know it. He's one of my. Go ahead.
I get where you're coming from as well, Shawn. But you got to think about this too. Even in situations where we're doing it perfectly, textbook getting it right, there are still situations where we're getting killed. You know, the guy was on the ground. And they got him on the ground, but they still shot him, those types of things. So it's like you can still do it perfect, and still get killed. So you got to balance that as well too.
Yeah, I hear you, man. My lens is a little bit different, but I understand, your lens and how you guys see it and respect it as well, But yeah, at the end of the day, I want you to go home to your family. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you, and my hope is that if you're ever in that situation, you make it home to your family.
Yeah, I mean, So,
Here's the tragedy. Here's the tragedy, though, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
That we have to realistically have this conversation.
I was just thinking that. We
and
have
that's
to
what
have
I
this
try to explain.
It's called the talk.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've had to explain that to, some white friends of mine that are open enough to hear it. I had a white friend one time when the riots were going on, and he basically said, it's a shame that man died, but all this destruction and this and that, it's enough. And then he appealed to me like, I'm willing to do what I can do. What can I do to help? I said, well, first of all, you can accept the fact that you never say it's enough. Mm-hmm. You're not in a position to say it's enough because it's enough when we say it's enough. And I know how you feel about your family. And if anybody that ever threatens your child, there will be hell to pay. So this is the same. You don't get to say when it's enough, And so a lot of the men, they're just, they mean well, but they're so misguided and so programmed. And I admit that I had one friend that I was comfortable having those kind of conversations with. And the last time we had one, I was no longer comfortable. The lens that he had on it made me uncomfortable. And I decided that I had probably given him credit for being more compassionate than I should have given him credit for. And he has tried to engage me about those kinds of topics since then, and I won't engage because I'm not going to talk to you about it anymore.
Yeah, and I definitely go ahead, Glenn.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just gonna say I definitely don't agree with the opportunists who anytime something happens they run out and jump and break in stores and all that stuff just strictly for the opportunity.
Yeah, because that exists absolutely.
Right, but in terms of just some of the destruction and things going on, like again, like you said, it's just I don't know. It's a tough situation, but like. Yeah, I don't know, man. I got a lot of feelings about it, man. But it's just like everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. So we've been seeing these situations go on, and it's like, well, they're not going to get the message until their economics are affected. Okay, well, we impacted their economics. We tore down shit. We went downtown, all that kind of stuff. And now when that's happening, it's like, oh, well, that's too much. It's like, well, no, now we got your attention. That's what's happening.
Yeah. So we can only march for so long.
But they always want to tell us how to protest, which I find fascinating.
Right. There you go.
Which I find fascinating. We kneel in peace, that's a problem. We tear shit up, that's a problem. You have a problem with us, period. Mm-hmm. So no matter
what we do,
we choose, you have a problem with it. Yeah, I admit, man, I'm in a bad place with it, man. I'm in a bad place with it, and I'm trying to be balanced and I'm trying to keep an even temperament. But yeah, I'm in a bad place with it, man.
What do you think about
8 minutes? I just want to give you guys a check-in. We're at about 8 minutes before we got to get out of here.
What do you think about us, the struggles that we have with bonding together to make things happen or to make change happen?
I think that's a great question, man. I think that there are a couple of different struggles with it. Mel and I actually debated this before on one show where I really, I don't know that I buy into the fact that we need a leader so much. But I do understand and value the belief that there are key people that we can, utilize.
But I think there's a problem with that because I remember it was Byron Allen and he was dealing with a lawsuit against, I think it was Comcast or somebody else.
Yeah.
And Comcast went out and talked to Al Sharpton, and all of a sudden they thought everything was okay. And Byron was like, no, because that's not the person that represents my interests.
Right.
You can't go make a deal with one person and think you speak for all of Black America. And I totally agree with that. and Byron said something interesting. He was like, "Yeah, tell me the white person I can speak to that'll take care of all the white America's ills, and all their issues. Name that person. Like there is nobody, and we shouldn't
What
have
do
that."
you mean? It's Trump. It wasn't Trump? No? No? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Right,
It
right.
was only Trump if you
Thank you,
hate
Mel.
black people, Mel. It was only Trump.
He came close.
You know.
Make America
He
great.
came dangerously close.
Hey, this is really in poor taste. But one of the funniest jokes I saw was Republicans hate two things: being called racist and black people.
There's there's a new Anglo-Saxon caucus now of a couple of reps who want to restore Anglo-Saxon values and making sure that we are focused on what the original intent was for America. And they even went as far as talking about the structures in America and making sure that we're building buildings that are based on those principles as well.
Hey man, when you say
Handmaid's Tale,
that included hating black people. I ain't trying to hear anything that's talking about original intent.
Did you say Handmaid's Tale, Glenn? Was it the Handmaid? The
It's
Anglo-Saxon.
okay. It's almost like Handmaid's Tale. It's basically, if you've ever heard of replacement theory, it's this fake belief that all of a sudden America is being placed by immigrants and people that weren't originally born here to move forward any agenda that's not American. It's the replacement theory. It's a very white supremacist theory.
Yeah, I mean, all the Tiki Torch dudes was chanting, "You will not replace us.
You will not replace us." Yeah. Exactly. So now Tucker Carlson has kind of dabbled in replacement theory, and now we got a couple of reps, Marjorie Taylor Greene out of Georgia and Paul Gosar out of Arizona, who are dabbling in it, and they created a caucus to basically create an Anglo-Saxon and pushing for Anglo-Saxon beliefs. And basically it's an anti-replacement theory caucus, and even the Republicans, even the right-wing Republicans, the ones that are staunch Republicans are coming out saying, yeah, this is bull. But that's what's happening.
Hey man, check this out. I hate to cut you off, Glenn. We got about 2.5 minutes left, and I want each of you to give me about 30 seconds of just something you want to leave the audience with, uplifting, positive, something to think about, whatever it might be. About 30 seconds before we check out. And Dave, I'm going to start with you because you are our special guest, you're our only guest this week. So 30 seconds, man, just whatever's on your brain that you would want to share with the world if you knew the world was listening.
Yeah, man. I mean, we just went through a lot starting last February, March, whatever, a ton, life just kind of upended. Didn't know where it was going to go. At first, we thought it was going to be, extremely temporary. Then it went on and went on. As far as the pandemic goes, throw on all of the, racial injustice, the George Floyd, everything, the reckoning, and we went through a whole lot. And but for the most part, we are still here, and we got an opportunity to make the days ahead whatever we need them to be. So now we have more perspective based on what we just went through, and we just need to build this thing higher. So.
I love it.
Roll up our sleeves.
Roberson. Mel, talk to me. 30 seconds.
So I talk about hourglasses a lot, and I like the comparison of life. When we were born, an hourglass is flipped over. The challenge is we don't know how much sand is left in the top half, and so many times people go to the graves. And one of my books, I talk about how the richest place in the world is the cemetery because people go to the grave with all of these buried treasures inside of them. And if this pandemic has done nothing else, it should show you the fragility of life, and anything worth doing is worth doing now. So, don't wait for it, work for it, make it happen.
I like it. Robert Hazzard, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. How do you come behind that? I think that one of the things that is really important for us, pandemic has done it. It's actually been an opportunity for us to kind of stand still. Self-care is really important. We talked about anxieties that we all have. For me, I believe that mental health, particularly for men, is important, and we should do more of it. But we should love on each other, not because I'm the lover of love and lover of life, but because we never get another opportunity to tell somebody that we love them. So I think if we do nothing else, share a story, tell somebody how you really feel about them in a loving way.
Rob, I think that was one of the most powerful things you've contributed on this show to date, man. I love you. Want you to know that. I'm telling you that so you can hear it yourself. Glenn, 30 seconds, man.
Yeah, Rob, you okay? Yeah, I don't know if I love you, but you're all right.
Mean drunk. Mean ass drunk.
30
Come on, Glenn.
I'm sorry. Let me go back. Every day there's 1,440 minutes. That means you have 1,440 daily opportunities to make a positive impact. It costs nothing to make a positive impact. If you tell somebody you care about them, tell them you love them, tell them you're rooting for them, that's free. That's your impact. You make a difference every minute. You have a ton of opportunities to make a difference. So go out and do that. And maybe Rob did say that, Mel, but I didn't listen to him. So I'm saying,
Clearly. Take us home. Take us home, Shawn Mason. Take us home.
And I would say, I got you, Raj. I would say, take that chance, shoot that shot, whether it's that job, that lady you've been watching, that man you've been watching, shoot that shot. You only live once. Live your life. Don't let your life live you. Don't get to the end of the road and realize that your life lived you and you didn't live your life. Take control of it. Take the reins. Live your life. We appreciate you all that's hung out with us, man. We're coming up on a year. We're going to try to do something special for you, Dave. Man, we really appreciate you coming in, man, and spending time with us, man. You're always an awesome with great.
Next time I need my picture to flash
I'm
when
gonna
I
make
come
sure,
on.
I'm gonna call somebody that knows somebody.
We got you, bro.
And make that happen, man. I'm gonna make that happen for you the next time, Big Dave. Everybody watching, we so appreciate you. We're so glad that you spend this time and kept us on. And we'll see you guys next Saturday at 9 on the Cave. Thanks so much.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.